started to laugh because I'm remembering all the things that we used to do to make fun of her. I'm remembering how weird Lisa was. I start to laugh because I think Kristen is going to laugh with me, but she doesn't. I'm really lucky to have friends like Kristen who are honest with me even though it's uncomfortable. She stops me, she goes, Houston, you know, we used to be a real jerk to that girl. I said, yeah, she was kind of strange. She goes, Houston, I don't know the whole story. But Kristen's younger brother, Wyatt, used to hang out with Lisa's younger brother, Jake. She goes, Houston, I don't know the whole story, but Wyatt, he's told me some things over the past couple of years. Like, for example, Houston, when we were in 6th grade, the reason why Lisa and Jake moved to our school was because they lost that old house. 3 years before they showed up at our school, their dad had walked out and left the family behind. They tried to keep the house because it was where they grew up, but eventually they had to sell it and move to our district, to our school. Houston, as Jake told Wyatt, it was a good thing because Lisa's dad wasn't a very nice guy, especially to her. Houston, I don't know the whole story about Lisa and Jake, but what I do know is this: when Wyatt would come home from their house, we would always have to make him another meal. Like a whole other dinner at like 8 or 9 o'clock, because when he was over there, they never had enough food. It was Lisa and Jake and their mom had spent her whole life raising kids. Never had a full-time job, never went to college, and so when the dad left, she had to figure out how to support a whole family. Let alone someone like my brother, he needs a lot. She goes, Houston, I don't know the whole story, but I do know that Lisa has it. Before we laugh at her, before we make fun of her, before we think we're better than her, I think we should at least think about that. I had never taken the time. You know, when I'm scared, I get selfish. All my fears are about me. I'm scared what people think about me. I'm scared that I'm not good enough. I'm scared that I'm not going to fit in. I'm scared that people aren't going to laugh. People aren't going to like me. And sometimes I get so worried about me that I forget about other people. Sometimes I'm so worried about people loving me that I forget how much other people need love too. For the first time, after Kristen went home that night, I sat down and I thought about Lisa's story. It's hard work. Kindness is hard. Compassion is hard because it requires us to pause and think about other people. I sat down and I thought about why maybe Lisa wore the same pink or purple tights to school every day. Why she gave Kristen a paper rose. It occurred to me that maybe Lisa had never been made to feel important at home. She was never made to feel safe or like she was beautiful or like she was a princess at home by one of the people in her life. And the one day that she walked into that room smiling, dressing, looking like a princess, for maybe one of the first times in her life, I took it away from her. And for just a minute, it made me feel a little bit better. There they were, dancing. I looked at these two and I thought to myself, these kids have to be crazy, because I sat there watching the girl from near my table, hopped up, ran over, and joined me. 3 people dancing. 4, then 5, 10, 12. We got to 12 people on the fringe of this huge round cafeteria, just 12 people over in the corner. I made eye contact with the boy. I've been watching the whole time, and finally he looked back at me, and in his eyes was a question. He was like, this could get bigger, couldn't it? I looked back at him, and I was like, oh yeah. So what they did is they took that group of 12 people. They walked hand in hand out to the center and formed a circle right in the middle of the cafeteria, and you bet all 700 people are now watching what's going to happen next. You can see a table of 8 right next to the group of 12 looking at each other. You can see their decision-making process. They're looking at each other like, should we? Should we not? Should we? You do it. I'll do it. All at once, they hop up. All 8 of them rush out, join 20 people dancing. 2 tables saw that, like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. They run over and start dancing. 40 people dance. When he gets to 40, the girl next to me looks over and she goes, now dance with me. I ain't no creepy, but let's go. I hold her hand, we run out into the center, and as I'm running, people are getting up out of their chairs from all over the room. We get out to the middle, and I'm looking up. And the balcony, this cafeteria is so big, there's a balcony, and people are stopping. They're supposed to be going to their class. It's supposed to be passing period. They're smushed up against the rail and taking photos and videos. I'm like, what are they doing? And as I look around, I realize that there's not a single person left in their seats. Every student, teacher, lunch lady, custodian, even the principal was on the table. Dancing. And at the center of it all was that one boy with the funniest look on his face. He was smiling, but at the same time you could tell he was terrified. He was like, what have I done? I looked at that kid and I realized how powerful you and everything. I looked at that kid and I was reminded that sometimes it is the smallest moments, the smallest little things in our life, the smallest words like you don't deserve to be a princess, or Helga, can I get you a bottle of water? Sometimes it is the smallest little moments that make the biggest difference. I looked at that kid and I was reminded of what real courage looks like. Courage is not the decision simply to stand up and dance. Courage is certainly not the people making fun of the kid dance. Real courage is having 700 people watch you, point at you, laugh at you, judge you, and continuing to dance anyways. I love my job. I get to travel all over the country and I speak at a new school almost every day, and I'm reminded all the time that kindness is not normal. And that's what makes it hard. Because anytime we do something that's not normal, people are going to look at us funny. They're going to point at us. They might laugh at us, they might judge us, they might go back to their tables and talk about it. Which is why it's not normal people that will change the school. It's not normal people that change the world. It is people who are willing to be just a little bit different for an awkwardly long period of time. Until someone decides to join you. And every day we get those little choices. Every day we have small moments where we get to choose the kind of person, the kind of school we want to create. Every day we can decide, am I going to hold the door open for someone? Am I going to compliment someone? Am I going to thank my teacher? Am I going to pick up the trash even though it's not mine? Am I going to say hello? Am I going to meet someone new? Am I going to make their day a little better? Am I going to thank the person holding the door open for me? Every day we have thousands of small little opportunities to practice and show love and kindness, but they're hard because they're not normal. But every day we get to ask ourselves, we get to decide, am I going to be the kind of person that gives people princess moments? Or the kind of person that takes them away? Am I going to be the kind of person that walks by help and assumes someone else will take care of them? Or am I going to be the kind of person that stops and helps, knowing that sometimes that small little act of kindness can make a really big difference? Every day we can decide, am I going to live my life scared? Or am I going to let the fear, the feeling, happen? Even though I'm scared, I can still choose to be kind. I can still choose to show compassion. I can still choose to do things, even though it's uncomfortable or hard, I can still choose love. Kindness in our world today is not normal. You want to know how you change normal? You and I, we have to start small. Thank you guys for listening to this.